Bienvenidos nuevamente a nuestra sesión de Knox con Inergency y con Y News. Estamos muy contentos de estar el día de hoy. Saludos a todos nuestros amigos de la familia Knox. Somos solidarios con el equipo y con todos los proyectos que hace Knox en temas de sustentabilidad. Hoy tenemos a un gran invitado, el doctor Joe Pérez, desde el norte de Carolina. Entonces, esta va a ser una sesión bilingüe, ¿no? La primera parte vamos a platicar un poquito de lo que hace el doctor Pérez en español y después nos cambiamos un poquito a unas preguntas técnicas, ¿no? En inglés vamos a hablar hoy de riesgos globales y también de transparencia, ¿verdad? Entonces vamos a empezar. ¿Qué tal, Joe? Buenas tardes.
Buenas noches. Bueno, para mí, buenas noches.
Claro,
Porque yo,
sí, sí, bueno,
eh,
exactamente.
sí, sí.
Qué tal tu semana? En la Ciudad de México son las 6, para nosotros
Bueno,
son las
entonces,
8,
buenas
¿verdad?
tardes. Entonces, para nosotros las 8, buenas noches, sí.
Exactamente. Joe,
Sí, señor.
platícanos un poquito algo de ti, tu historia, ¿no? Has sido educador, tecnólogo,
Sí, señor.
conferencista, ¿no? Si quieres platicarnos un poquito de tu experiencia, ¿no?
Claro
Yo
que
sé que
sí.
también hablamos algo de música, ¿no? Pero lo que quieras
Sí,
platicar y luego platicamos ya de otros temas, ¿no?
sí, con el otro idioma.
Sí, claro, en otro idioma,
Sí,
claro.
soy cubano, pero cubano un poquito agringado cuando viene a los asuntos de la tecnología. Es que
Claro,
no tengo el vocabulario, pues estoy mucho más cómodo hablando de esas cosas en el idioma inglés. Pues
sí, claro.
a su pregunta, señor. Gracias. Primeramente, le agradezco tanto a usted por haberme invitado a platicar con usted esta noche y estar
Muchas
en este
gracias.
programa. Es un placer tremendo. Pues yo fui a la universidad como educador. La educación fue mi curso de estudio en mi
Claro,
bachillerato, mi master's y mi doctorado también. Empecé como maestro, como 10 años en esa carrera, siendo maestro de español, créelo o no lo crea, español, español, Biblia, computadoras y la historia también. La economía,
claro.
económicos, algo como así. Pues
Sí, algo así,
me
sí.
divertí mucho en eso y todavía educador, aunque ese no es mi trabajo ahora en estos días. Los primeros 25 años, cuando se desarrolló mi carrera en IT o
Claro,
en tecnología de información, TI, me imagino que sería en español. Yo empecé en una universidad, North Carolina State University. Estuve ahí por 25 años. Empecé como programador, fui también gerente de entrenamiento de computadoras y también terminé como especialista de la inteligencia de negocios, o
oh,
en
qué
inglés,
interesante. Sí,
business intelligence. Y ese fue mi pasión, todavía es cosas que tienen que ver con los datos, que tienen que ver con la analítica y las cosas bueno, que los que hacen decisiones pueden derivar la sabiduría que necesitan para hacer
claro,
sus decisiones. Y esa carrera he estado, bueno, va a ser 31 años que he estado con el Estado en entero. Primero 25 años con la universidad y los últimos 6 años con el Departamento de Servicios de Salud y Sanidad. Creo que
algo
se
así,
dirá así.
exactamente, sí,
Health and
exactamente.
Human
Health
Services.
Services, claro,
Sí, Health and Human Services.
sí,
Servicios de humano y de salud. Bueno, lo que
claro,
sea.
algo así,
Y claro,
exactamente,
todo el mundo trabajamos con seres humanos porque
claro,
no hay
claro,
ningún otro tipo de persona aquí en este
sí,
planeta, me
claro.
imagino. Sí, sí.
Y ya
Pues
los últimos años ha sido tecnología, ¿verdad?
sí, señor. Sí, señor. Me ha
Tecnología,
gustado
exactamente,
muchísimo. He estado hablando en conferencias acerca de datos, acerca de la innovación,
claro,
acerca de la integridad entre los que son líderes,
claro,
el desarrollo profesional de las personas y cosas así, que
claro,
yo tengo una pasión y se ha desempeñado esta parte de mi carrera mm, eh, que ha sido una diversión muy buena para mí.
claro.
Ojalá para
Entonces,
la audiencia también.
sí, naturalmente. Bueno, ¿has estado en qué? Sí me acuerdo, ¿no? Suiza, Alemania, Chile, es
Y
un mundo de
también
países dando conferencias, ¿no?
Australia, sí señor, también Australia,
Ah, qué maravilla.
Escocia,
Sí,
Hawái, que no es un país, pero es un estado y es lindísimo.
sí.
Y este año regreso a Alemania y también a Lituania
Ah,
para
fantástico.
hablar en otras conferencias después este año.
Excelente, excelente. Entonces, en el estado de Norte Carolina manejas los servers, manejas todo lo que son los programas cuando hacen las investigaciones, las encuestas. ¿Cómo es un poquito eso lo que haces? Sí,
Sí, bueno,
sí.
yo soy liaison, se dirá así.
El enlace.
Sí, el enlace
Sí,
entre nuestros socios de negocios y
ujú,
nuestros socios técnicos.
claro,
Yo que conozco los procesos del negocio, yo que conozco los procesos de mover datos, eso es lo que
claro.
hacemos, es un warehouse de datos
Sí, claro.
y recibimos datos de como 80 diferentes fuentes,
Agencias.
sí, agencias y etcétera, diferentes tipos de datos y lo
Claro.
tenemos que unir y
Sí, claro.
empatar juntos para que la gente que necesitan acceso lo pueden accesar de una manera con seguridad,
Claro.
que sea consistente, que todo
Claro.
sea transformado de una forma que se puede desarrollar, que se puede entender y que uno puede hacer reportes acerca de esos datos.
Claro, exactamente. Sí,
Y
sí.
las soluciones, yo soy gerente de proyectos, de los recursos que se necesitan para completar los proyectos. Yo estoy manejando, como si fuera manejando las personas, manejando esos recursos de tal
Claro,
manera que
claro.
sean eficientes y que los proyectos se pueden terminar tempranos y que podamos las expectativas para mí, en mis ojos, en mi vista, una
Sí,
expectativa es algo que se debe de exceder, no
claro.
solamente mantener.
Sí, claro. Y es interesante quizás, por ejemplo, en mi experiencia, ¿no? Que he tenido oportunidad de platicar con tecnólogos, ¿no? La información que utilizan, por ejemplo, los bomberos o su sistema de
Sí.
telefonía es diferente
Ujú.
al que manejan las 911, las ambulancias, pues el mismo lugar, pero sus
Claro.
sistemas son diferentes, ¿no? Entonces, teléfonos, softwares, y obviamente el público, pues el público es diferente, ¿no? O sea, las personas
Claro.
mayores a veces no sabemos mandar un texto o no recibimos el texto
Sí.
y hay que ir al website. Entonces, por ejemplo, eso, bueno, va a ser parte de nuestra conversación. Quería preguntarte, bueno, tengo unos personajes virtuales que me gustaría, si estás de acuerdo, que te hagan las preguntas. Virtual persons make you the
Sí.
questions. Is that okay?
Okay. Sí.
Yes,
Sí,
excellent,
señor.
very good. So that coming
Yep.
in a
We're
second.
going to switch to English. Right.
Excellent. Yes, we're gonna switch to English. We're gonna switch to English. So let me just come back over here. I should show you this one before. Let me come back real quick to this one. So this is the first question. Vamos en inglés, ¿no? This is a
Sí, señor.
singing. Let's see what you think.
Hi,
Hello. Buenas noches. Howdy.
buenas noches. Doctor Joe Pérez, who can we read the gap between education and governance to effectively translate data into active information, enabling leaders in both sectors to better understand and address global risk?
That's an excellent question. Excuse me. That's a great question. Thank you so much for asking. So,
Una pregunta. ¿Me repites that was the same question?
Yes,
That that was the question that we had, right?
otra vez hago la pregunta, ok.
Sí, sí, era la misma pregunta que teníamos, ¿verdad?
Ajá,
Sí, perfectísimo, excelente, excelente, muy bien.
pero el doctor Joe Pérez creo que...
Yo creo que tiene una situación de audio, dale unos segundos, ¿no? Y ahorita regresa, ¿no? Sí.
Ok.
Fantástico, excelente. Thank you very much. Bueno, en lo que regresa el profesor doctor Joe Pérez, espero que todo esté bien con él. Le acabo de mandar un mensaje. Bueno, si hablamos un poquito de los riesgos, ¿no? De los riesgos globales y de los riesgos locales, pues ha habido un poquito de novedades, ¿no? Obviamente antes del COVID, ¿no? Hemos tenido muchas experiencias, ¿no? Y recientemente que en la semana pasada en Tokio hubo una reunión de los líderes del grupo 7, que, ¿cómo se llama? Que platicaron, ¿no? Obviamente de muchos temas, pero uno de ellos era un plan nuevamente, ¿no? Para el desarme nuclear, ¿no? Y utilizar la energía nuclear para temas pacíficos, ¿no? Y con ciertos protocolos, ¿no? Son como de los temas globales, ¿no? Obviamente tenemos que el cambio climático, los desastres naturales, y por otro lado, a manera local, tenemos pues diferentes tipos de retos, ¿no? Cada ciudad es diferente, ¿no? Y I think Mr. Perez is coming back. Thank you, Mr. Perez. Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can see you. We can hear you. Yes,
wow.
yes.
I am so sorry. My internet went out, and I don't know what was happening. So I'm okay now. If you can hear me, okay.
I thought you didn't like the question, but can you come back with the question again, please? Hace la pregunta ya.
Ok. ¿De nuevo la misma o tengo varias?
Sí, la misma, por favor.
Okay.
Yes,
Who can we bridge the gap between education and government to effectively translate data into actionable information, enabling leaders in both sectors to better understand and address global risk?
Okay, that's a great question. So, since bridging this gap is full of issues, okay, and I'm sorry, I'm getting feedback. Okay, it's going to involve collaboration and capacity, and here are some to help this goal.
Creo que está muy mal su internet, ¿verdad?
Sí, fíjate que a veces, aunque no lo creas, en los Estados Unidos a veces hay temas de internet, ¿no? Por ejemplo, nosotros que tenemos en México estudiantes y pasantes, bueno, ¿qué escuchamos, no? El tema de que la lluvia, el aire, ¿no? Situaciones así reducen el internet, y pues obviamente yo creo que lo vamos a resolver en cualquier momento, ¿no? Pero pero bueno, muy contentos, ¿no? Muy contentos de estar con los amigos de Nox, ¿no? Lo que les platicaba, ¿no? Y te platicaba es que, por ejemplo, tenemos la macro preocupación, ¿no? El sabor de la semana, y tenemos como que la preocupación local, que obviamente cambia de una ciudad a otra, ¿no? Por ejemplo, ¿qué hay en la Ciudad de México? Pues el tema del volcán, ¿no? El tema de la contaminación, o sea, hay así, como temas, que a veces van variando, ¿no? Los temblores, y obviamente cada ciudad es diferente, pero tenemos también que el tema de la seguridad, ¿no? Entonces, por ejemplo, en Estados Unidos, si hablamos de los últimos, quizás 1 o 2 años antes de la pandemia, el principal reto de salud, ¿no? Yo creo que después del SIDA era la crisis del Zika, ¿no? Y eso era en Puerto Rico, porque pues Puerto Rico, como siendo parte de Estados Unidos, tiene un gran problema, ¿no? Entonces, mucha de la energía, al menos en términos de percepción, era el problema del Zika, ¿no? Que llegaba a Florida. Entonces era una situación así grandísima, ¿no? Que había mucha inversión, estaban las noticias y todo. Después vino el tema de la salud mental, ¿no? El gran problema en los Estados Unidos iba a ser la salud mental, y competí un poquito con la crisis de los opios. Yes, Mr. Perez. Yes.
Hello again. I don't know what's going on. Internet keeps going out, but I think I figured out the problem. I had my VPN was still on, so I turned that off, and now I've got a good connection now. So,
excellent, thank you.
But yeah, I can answer the question, or if you wanted to move on to the next one, or whatever you want to do.
Can you do the next question, please? La siguiente pregunta, next question.
Who was your bus science experience dealing with change and unknown risk during and after the pandemic?
Okay. Yeah, that's an excellent question. So, a lot of risks during the pandemic. I tell you, dealing with tough challenges and unknown risks is not an easy thing, even in the best of circumstances. All right. But, the COVID pandemic put a new twist to everything because it was so totally unprecedented to anyone's experience and so widespread in its reach and lasted so much longer than anybody ever anticipated that it would last. So,
Supposed to be
anyone, that's right.
1 month, supposed to be
Yeah,
4 weeks, right?
that's exactly right. And it kept going more and more. So, any one of those three things I mentioned would be bad enough. But hey, when you put all three of those things together at the same time, and then pile up on top of that all of the uncertainty at the beginning, as far as the true nature of the illness is concerned, whether or not a vaccine was going to be developed, how long it would last. When you do that, you have a surefire recipe for a perfect storm. You can imagine. But looking back on it now, 3 years later, um,
Bien.
I can say just how
Ujú.
grateful I am personally for the sustaining grace of God through it all. And I'm sure many others have had their own stories of faith and courage, hardship and resiliency, tragedy and triumph, you name it. All right. But yes, getting back to the question, okay, it was a transformational journey in my workplace. Okay. Practically everything else. We faced unprecedented disruptions, and we had to navigate through uncertainty. However, it was through meeting these challenges head on that we discovered our resilience and the power of collective effort. Okay, during the pandemic, we quickly shifted our operations to run remotely. That wasn't too terribly much of a stretch because in my department, we were already working remotely, say, I don't know, 1 or 2 days a week already. So it was just a matter of ramping up the infrastructure to handle the extra network traffic of all of us working remotely all the time, and then embracing more and more of the digital tools and platforms to ensure continuity. See, we recognized the importance of maintaining open lines of communication for our team and with other business representatives as well throughout the agency, ensuring that everybody felt supported and informed. We also set up stand-up meetings a couple of days a week to keep everybody's projects and tasks up at the forefront, to maintain productivity, to ensure accountability, and to make sure that we could deliver results. Okay,
Correct.
most after the pandemic. All right, 3 years later, we still continue to confront unknown risks as we are still navigating through things in a changed landscape. Everything else has changed, right? When you work remotely, for example, you can't just walk up to a coworker's desk and, hey, can I have your advice? No, you don't have what we call potluck lunch as often. You don't have division-wide picnics to see everybody outside, other social activities as much. So yeah, there are still some things that well, we have to continue to work on. But here's the thing. I'll tell you this much. To the extent that we can continue to embrace a forward-thinking mindset and foster a culture of care and stay committed to keeping those lines of communications open, like I talked about before, right? That's the extent that we can ensure that our organization will have health and growth, and also the health and growth of the individuals who make up that organization. To me, that's more important. So, while there's still a ways to go, I do believe that we have weathered the storm and we've gotten stronger. Even though the pandemic brought unprecedented hardship, it also presented opportunities for innovation and transformation. You see, we carry these valuable lessons forward as we continue to look to the future, embracing the unknown with confidence and determination. I think that's what it's going to take moving forward.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Can you make the next question? La siguiente pregunta, por favor. Next question.
Claro.
Yes.
Do you believe there is a significant gap in the understanding of risk between leaders in the public and private sectors, and how do these impact our ability to address global risk effectively?
Okay, that's an excellent question. Yeah, there are lots of gaps, most definitely. Absolutely. You see, there definitely exists a significant gap in understanding multiple risks, especially when you try to do it simultaneously, right? Especially when you're talking about leaders in both the public and the private sectors.
Right.
Okay, I believe that this gap hampers our ability to mitigate acceptable risks, and its impact is profound in several ways. All right, first of all, I see it in what we call siloed approaches. Leaders in
Right.
different sectors often focus solely on their own domain specific risks, right? Things in their own silo, so narrow minded, failing to grasp the interconnected nature of multiple risks. And this is often results in a fragmented understanding, and that hinders the development of comprehensive strategies that are needed to tackle these global challenges. Now, I say it's high time to break down those silos and foster collaboration together. All right. I also see some coordination challenges. Okay. When the leaders lack of overall understanding of multiple business areas, effective coordination can become, an elusive thing. Collaboration and information section between sectors are crucial for identifying emerging risks and implementing coordinated response strategies. We need to bridge those gaps, fostering shared knowledge and collaboration. And then
Absolutely.
there are missed synergies. Okay, I hope that people realize that global risks are intertwined together, right? They have shared underlying factors, that all sorts of interdependencies, and failure to recognize these synergies means that you're going to have missed opportunities for mitigating these risks simultaneously or even by themselves. Why row the boat by yourself, right? So by integrating efforts and strategy, I think we can harness the power of synergy to tackle multiple risks collectively. Lastly, I think we're hamstrung when there's no aligned resource allocation. And let me explain what I mean by that. Inadequate understanding of multiple risks can result in misallocation of resources, and that leaves us vulnerable to unexpected crises. Hey, that's even worse when you consider the scarcity of those resources in many cases in the first place. We really need to ensure that those resources are allocated equitably, addressing both risks that have already been recognized and those risks that are emerging. See, this way, I think we can build comprehensive preparedness and response capacity. Bottom line, I believe it's imperative that we promote what I like to call cross-sectional collaboration. All right. Also encourage information sharing and foster that multidisciplinary approach that I've been talking about for both risk assessment and management by enhancing the understanding of multiple risks among these leaders you asked me about. By doing that, we empower ourselves to develop comprehensive strategies, allocate resources effectively, and build resiliency to address global risks with insight. And you know what? Together, keeping this in mind, we can create a future where no risk goes unaddressed. At least that's what I'd like to see in a perfect world.
Absolutely. La última pregunta, the last question, yes.
I can't hear you. I'm sorry.
Excuse me.
That's okay, no
Um,
problem.
where do you see the biggest challenge coming for the future?
Wow. You know, I don't think anybody can predict the future. If I did, entonces yo sería Nostradamus. Te voy a decir el futuro, right? Nobody can do that. I don't care what language it's in, if it's in Spanish, English, or Swahili, or whatever. But I can speak from experience. Okay, I believe the future does indeed present a myriad of challenges that demand our full attention, eyesight, and concerted effort to tackle. Okay, here's a few of them that I see as being most challenging. I don't know, they're in no particular order. Okay, first, how about technological advances? Now, in mentioning this, I get funny looks. It sounds counterintuitive to some people because, we tend to see technology as a good thing, a positive thing, and most of the time it is. Okay, but think of it this way. All right, while rapid technological advances bring immense opportunities and certainly great benefit to many, 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 many people, it also presents significant challenges. Yeah, artificial intelligence, automation, robotics, biotechnology, all these things can indeed revolutionize industries and improve lives. But there are also concerns about job displacement, ethical dilemmas, privacy issues, and unintended consequences. Navigating all these ethical, social, and economic implications of these technologies, that's a critical problem. Okay, here's another one. How about global health crises? We already talked about the pandemic, right?
Right.
And even though the COVID-19 pandemic is largely in the past in our rearview mirror, still, having already gone through it, wow, that has definitely highlighted the vulnerability of our global health systems. And hey, who's to say that there won't be another mega virus, from some other source, right? It's going to come up and rear its ugly head and bite us. The emergence of infectious diseases, antimicrobial resistance, the need for effective pandemic preparedness. These are all ongoing challenges. Strengthening healthcare infrastructure, ensuring equitable access to healthcare, and enhancing global cooperation, and both surveillance and response. This kind of thing, that is critical for addressing any future coronaviruses or monkeypox or chicken, well, we already know about chicken pox. It might be, I don't know, the llama pox or burro pox or some other crazy, crazy thing, right? Okay, they're all, how about the geopolitical tensions, right? Regional conflicts like guerra, rise of nationalism. Okay, these are things that pose challenges to global stability and cooperation. We're seeing this with the ongoing conflict in Ukraine, right? I'm sure many people, myself including, we hope it'll come to a peaceful conclusion. Okay, but the way things go, no sooner would that happen that some other conflict is going to come up, right? It's going to come up elsewhere. You never know. Navigating these complex international relations, promoting diplomacy, and finding collaborative solutions to share problems are absolutely crucial for maintaining peace, addressing global challenges, and, I don't know, fostering sustainable growth. Now, speaking of sustainable, I see environmental degradation as a challenge. Okay, it shows up in various forms, right? Including deforestation, pollution, loss of biodiversity, and resource depletion. Excuse me. These things threaten ecosystems and livelihoods all over the world. Okay, protecting national natural resources and promoting sustainable practices, and strengthening the economy. That's a balancing act. How do you do all those things at the same time? It's not easy, right? But doing so is vital for preserving the environment and ensuring a planet that future generations can live on. Lastly, speaking of degradation, um, the challenge, the one that concerns me the most, okay, is the decay of morals and a lack of concern about integrity and honesty in certain segments of society. We've seen things like this. Ethical principles and values are compromised. Family values leads to dishonesty, corruption, disrespect, disregard for the well-being of others, a low value of the value of life itself. Okay, it's going to require a collective effort to promote and uphold moral values like honesty, empathy, and respect and love, right? Of course, now I don't want to end this thing on such a sour note and paint such a bleak picture, to make people assume that this Doctor Perez, él no ve ninguna esperanza. Ay, qué malo, right? Yeah, I don't want you to think that I'm just looking for bad news. I do believe there is hope. By the grace of God, these challenges can be met. And doing so is going to require collective action, innovative solutions, and a long term perspective, not a short term. My take, it calls for collaboration between governments, businesses, academia, and civil society, as well as a commitment to sustainable development, social progress, and responsible decision making. From a moral and ethical standpoint. Um, I believe fostering a culture of integrity starts with education and cultivating a strong ethical foundation from an early age, right? Involves nurturing a sense of responsibility and empathy towards others from when your kids are little, cuando son chiquitos. Enséñale cuando son chiquitos,
That's
así no
right.
son tan malos cuando son grandes, right? We wait until they're grande, and we think that it's going to be better. No, you need to start cuando son chiquitos. Okay, that's
Absolutely.
very important to me. Things like honesty, fairness, ethical decision making. Right. This entails promoting transparency and accountability in both public and private spheres, and hoping both individuals and institutions alike. We ought to hold them to high standards.
Right.
Additionally, leaders in various sectors have a crucial role to play. You know why? Because they need to set an example of integrity and honesty. By priority and demonstrating integrity, I believe they can inspire others to follow suit. And hopefully, that's going to create a positive ripple effect throughout society. So, addressing these challenging things about decay of morals and a lack of concern about integrity requires a collective commitment to rebuilding trust, fostering ethical behavior, and reinforcing the fundamental values that underpin a just and compassionate society. It's through our shared dedication to integrity and moral principles that we can foster a more harmonious and morally conscious future for all. And when you do that, then everybody will love cats like you and me.
Of course, absolutely. That was no part. There was no part of the program. He just want to add some comments too.
Hey, that's okay.
To
I
Mr.
mean, what better way to talk about harmony and peace than to have an affectionate purring cat,
That's right.
or a nice
That shows
sniffling
a
dog.
high level of integrity. That shows, like if your pet likes you, when you're talking with Dr. Perez, means that you're okay.
That's
No?
exactly right.
That's right, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But thank you very much. ¿Alguna otra pregunta? Any more questions? Anything that we need to add?
No, todo bien. Muchas gracias por contestar las preguntas, Doctor Joe.
Sí, señor. El placer es mío y disculpe que porque soy tan agringado como estaba comentando antes,
No, no.
estoy más cómodo contestando las preguntas en inglés y ojalá me tiene un poquito de español por ahí, sería un
No,
poquito mejor también.
una disculpa a mí por mi inglés.
Oh, no, no se preocupe, no se preocupe. Ojalá que usted me puede perdonar a mí por el español matado que a veces tengo yo.
No se preocupe.
Sí.
Excelente.
Muchas
Pues
gracias.
Lo hablo un
gracias,
poquito,
Joe. No,
lo hablo un poquito mejor que el gato de Hugo.
that's right. Exactly.
Mucho
That's right.
mejor.
Sí.
That's right. Exactly. So anything else that you want to add, Joe? Any other comments?
No, other than to say how pleased and honored I am to be a part of this program, and I do apologize for the technical difficulties that I had earlier with getting on to answer the questions. But I'm very pleased to be a part of this evening, and thank you that you entrusted me with sharing a little bit of the thoughts that I had on these topics, and the importance of folks banding together to put forth their very best effort to ensure that they leave people better off after they've talked to them than they were when they started.
Of
And
course.
I think if I can have that as my main goal, to brighten somebody else's day and also to do whatever it is that I'm doing, if I do it better tomorrow than I did it, or do it better today than I did it yesterday, and hopefully even better tomorrow, then I think I can foster a spirit of innovation. Because in my view, if you're not innovating, you're stagnating.
That's right. Excellent. Well, thank you, Dr. Joe Perez. I know that you have some different online sessions. You have some online channel, which is the Mind. What's the name of that program do you have online?
Mind to Mind, yes, sir. I'm a
Mind to Mind.
I
That's right.
host
Yeah,
a
yeah.
talk show once a month. It's called Mind to Mind, and I
Absolutely. And
enjoy
they
doing
can
that very
find you
much.
also on YouTube and LinkedIn. Is that correct?
Correct, sir. YouTube, just search YouTube/C/Dr. Joe Perez Data. And on LinkedIn, I'm linkedin.com/IN/JW Perez. Please connect with me, reach out. I'm happy to continue the conversation over there.
Excellent. All right. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Joe. We appreciate your feedback and we enjoy talking to you. See you next time.
Sí, señor. Thank you so much. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye.
Buenas
All right.
noches.
Thank you very much.
Finalizar